My friends, on the occasion of National Nutritional Month, the Department of Dairy Technology, Farol University, has organized the series of the webinars. So today's webinar title is the role of bioactive peptides in management of lifestyle diseases. For this webinar, we have received the young scientist, Dr. Chitra Gupta. So firstly, I introduce Dr. Chitra ma'am. Dr. Chitra Gupta ma'am is working as an assistant professor in Department of Dairy Chemistry, College of Dairy Technology, Varud, Maharashtra Animal Fishery Sciences University, Nagpur, Maharashtra. As per the educational concern, ma'am has completed her BTech Dairy Technology, MTech Dairy Chemistry, and PhD Dairy Chemistry from National Dairy Research Institute, NDRI, Karnal. She was the recipient of Gold Medal MR Srinivasan Award and Wrigley Scholarship during BTech and received the Academic Excellence Award in PhD. Ma'am has published the 8th research paper in the High Impact Research Journal. So I welcome to Dr. Chitra ma'am for the webinar, and now I hand over the session to Dr. Chitra Gupta ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to present a particular topic which is related to the lifestyle diseases, which is a very major issue in this particular century. So, how this bioactive peptide produced by different type of food proteins are effective in the management of these lifestyle diseases. So, I thank you for giving me this particular opportunity. So first, I am starting with your protein as measure of the measure of the audience knows about the what is this protein. Generally, this protein has a very complex type of structure. It varies. One protein has a different structure than the other because it is formed by the linkage of various type of like 20 amino acids are there. This 20 amino acid in the different sequence, they are linked together and lead to the formation of a long protein chain, and the linkage between the different amino acids are through the peptide bond. So as you see, this one is the peptide bond. So this peptide bond is responsible for the formation of a different proteins. Generally, what happens when we are going to digest and when we are going to hydrolyze the protein in the presence of various type of enzymes, or we used to give different type of treatment that we will discuss. So there will be the breakage of the bonds between that peptide bond is broken, which is a covalent bond that broken. When this peptide bond is broken, there is the release of a peptide gene. So peptides are the smaller fragments of your protein. So this is all about the peptides, but the specific peptide, if they have a particular type of biological function, if it is related to your or going to affect the body function, as well as if the particular peptide has a particular impact on the or improving the health properties. If it improves the health, those type of peptides are known as the bioactive peptides. There are generation of various type of peptides. Some does not have a significance, but there are specific peptide which has the specific type of biological activity. So those specific type of proteins, peptides are known as the bioactive peptide. Generally, these bioactive peptides are encrypted in the natural structure of the protein only, but they are affected only when they are going to be released from your natural structure of your proteins. In the inherent protein structure, they are in the inactive form. When there is the release of these peptides, they will become active. So they will show their biological activity. There are different methods for the generation of this bioactive peptide. First one is, as we are going to consume the food proteins, there will be in the our body or digestive system, there are the various type of enzyme acts on your protein and releases these bioactive peptides. So this is the one of the major method which occurs inside your body system. Second method is we can use certain specific type of enzymes. When we are going to treat this protein in the in vitro method, means in the laboratory we are going to treat the protein with this enzyme. There will be the release of the peptide chains, and then we will do the fractionation and the characterization that we will discuss in the next slide. Next method is your microbial fermentation. In the case of your microbial fermentation, there are different type of microorganisms are there. These microorganisms also lead to the formation of a different type of enzyme. They synthesize the different enzyme. Those enzyme has the different specificity, and in the basis of their incubation conditions and other thing that needs to be optimized, there will be the generation of different type of bioactive peptides. Fourth method is your food processing, when we are doing the cooking, when we are doing the ripening, and when we are doing the fermentation. So during that process also there are the formation of certain type of enzymes, and those enzymes disrupt the protein structure and releases these bioactive peptides. So generally, there will be the generation of large number of peptides molecule when we are doing or using these different techniques. But later we have to specify or we have to fractionate those type of specific bioactive peptide, because peptides, large number of peptides will be generated. From that one we have to specifically find out which one is the bioactive one. So there are different techniques to fractionate these bioactive peptide. One is your ultrafiltration, or we can do the electrodialysis, or we can use the nanofiltration. So these are the techniques which are mainly dependent upon the size of the molecule. Other than that one, there are the certain advanced techniques are also there, like RP-HPLC, which separates the peptides on the basis of their hydrophobicity. There is ion exchange chromatography, which separates on the basis of ionic charge. There is one affinity chromatography also we can use, which specifically separates the bioactive peptide on the basis of their affinity for a particular ligand. There is one capillary electrophoresis also we can use, which is separates the different proteins on the basis of charge. And one more technique is there, which is size exclusion chromatography, which separates the protein or the peptide on the basis of their sizes. So these are the different techniques which are generally used. So from that one, we are going to get the different fraction of the peptides, and those fractions will be further checked for their bioactivity assay, as well as they can be further characterized by the mass spectroscopy. And there is one like what we can do is we have to find out that what sequence, in which sequence these peptides are there. So for that one, we used to use the protein sequences, for protein sequencing technique. From that one, we can get that what is the sequence of that particular peptide. So these are the major techniques used for the characterization as well as the fractionation of these bioactive peptides. So these bioactive peptides we can divide into the different groups on the basis of their biological activity. Like there are the peptide which can bind the calcium. So if they bind the calcium, they improves the bone health. There are different type of peptide, like ACE inhibitory peptides are there, anti-thrombotic peptide are there, anti-cholesteremic peptides are there, and antioxidative peptide. These all these four types of peptides are generally related to the prevention of your cardiovascular disease, which is a very predominant lifestyle disease, or major portion of your lifestyle disease is your this cardiovascular disease, which is related to the health. Then next one is your anti-obesity, which prevents the obesity, like it help in the weight management. Then next one is your anti-carcinogenic effect, so it is for the prevention of your cancer. Then there is the immunomodulatory disease peptides are there, which are important for the control of your immune system. Then satiety-inducing peptides are there, which will give you the fullness of the stomach, and ultimately it will prevent the obesity. Then antimicrobial peptides are there, which are also related to your immune system, as well as it will also helpful in the generation or the prevention of your body from your different type of microbial attacks. Then applied peptides are there, which ultimately affects on your nervous system, and this impact will be enhance the this mood as well as stress control will be there based upon the nervous control. And one more peptide is there, which is your like anti-diabetic peptides are there, which generally suppresses the alpha glucosidase as well as dipeptidyl peptidase. Four enzymes it will suppress, and that will control the diabetes. That mechanism we will discuss. So these lifestyle diseases are nothing but the disease which occurs due to the way how you live. Generally, as we are shifting like from household food to the like snacks as well as the other type of pizza and those type of products. So food consumption, which type of food we are going to eat, that is ultimately going to be deposited into your body, as well as there are different type of unhealthy habits are there, like some person used to consume the alcohol, as well as they used to smoke. Then other than that one, if you are consuming the unhealthy diet, if you are consuming too much amount of the processed food, if you are not taking the proper sleep, so these are the related to your lifestyle. If you control the lifestyle, then this disease can be suppressed. So these type of diseases includes your obesity, anxiety, diabetes, cancer, hypertension, your hormonal disbalance, heart related disease. According to the one report of your WHO, in the year of 2012, they have find out that around 17.3 million population of bird globally, it is affected with your CVT. 7.5 million is affected by cancer. 6.1 million is affected by stress, strokes, as well as 4.2 from the respiratory diseases, and 1.2 million is with the diabetes. As we all know that generally this CVD as diabetes, they are very common in case of your India. These diseases are very common. Just next person, if we talk, then they will be suffering from either the CVD or either the diabetes. In the November 2017, there is one report of your Times of India which shows that like in 1990 if we see, so there are more diseases which are the communicable type of diseases, but with time the communicable diseases has been reduced, but this non-communicable type of diseases which are ultimately related to your lifestyle, those has been increased. So there is the increase in the type of lifestyle diseases, and these are the major ones. This report is related to your Indian in the Indian status. What are the status of these different type of diseases? Then there will be then firstly we will discuss that how these bioactive peptides are going to control your CVT, which is a predominant type of disease or predominant lifestyle disease. There are different type of heart diseases which are ultimately related to your blood. So first property which this peptide has, the bioactive peptide has the antithrombotic property. In the case of this antithrombotic peptides, these can act either as an anticoagulant or antiplatelet. In the case of your anticoagulant, like we know that thrombosis or thrombotic peptides are required for the thrombosis is required for the blood coagulation. But if it happens on your skin, on your surface, it is okay, but we don't want that this thrombosis activity will be activated inside your body system, because if it activates inside your blood cells or blood vessels, it may ultimately lead to the formation of a clot, and because of that one the blood supply will be affected, and if blood supply will be affected, the oxygen supply to the different parts of your body will be affected. So for that one, it is important to, sometimes if a person is suffering from a CVD, then there may be chances that there are the clotting of the blood. So for preventing that one, there are the use of this anticoagulant and antiplatelet. Anticoagulant, which suppresses the formation of a larger growth of your blood clots, and second one is your antiplatelet, which inhibits the platelet aggregation. So these two mechanisms are there. This generally anticoagulants prevent this ischemic event of the CVD. So generally these bioactive peptides are obtained. This anticoagulant type bioactive peptides has been obtained from the marine resources, and this how this antiplatelet peptides acts, it inhibits the ADP induced platelet aggregation and the fibrinogen bindings. So because of this fibrinogen, there will not be any synthesis of your thrombin, because fibrinogen is already bound, so there will not be any synthesis of thrombin, and because of that one there will not be any clotting of your blood. These are the different type of your antithrombotic peptide extracted or found out from different type of food sources, and these are the different peptide sequence which has been find out by the protein sequencing technique. In this one, this TP is terrestrial plants, this TA is terrestrial animal, this DE is dairy and egg related and this AS is aquatic source. And in these protein sequences, they have given the single name of the peptides. So in the whole presentation, we use this particular one word technique for the sequencing of the different peptide extracted from the different sources. So next one is the anti-anemic. As we know that iron is very much important for your blood formation. If blood formation will be reduced, if iron is reduced, there will be the reduced or the hemoglobin level in the blood will be reduced. So it is also related to the, generally these anti-anemic peptides are nothing but the peptide which suppresses the iron content in your, or what we can say it as, it chelates the iron and make it available for the formation of your hemoglobin. So chelation, or what we can say it as, it enhances the iron bioavailability for the body. This one enzyme, this enzymatic hydrolysis of sugarcane yeast extract by the enzyme, this one is viscoenzyme, yielding the iron binding protein, which further increases the iron bioavailability. It has been shown that this peptide has the mental binding affinity, are they responsible for the attachment or the chelation of your iron with your peptides. And generally it has been observed that this histidine, lysine and arginines are present in your anti-anemic peptides. There is next one is your hypocholesterolemia and if there is the high concentration or high level of your cholesterol in the blood as well as high level of your triglyceride in the blood, then it will lead to the or affect your cardiovascular system or the heart system. So this cholesterol is generally required for the synthesis of your vitamin D, steroid hormones as well as your bile acid. But if there is the too much high concentration of this cholesterol, then it will lead to the formation of a plaque inside your arteries. So this generally what will happen if there is the plaque formation, so the diameter of your blood vessel will be reduced, and because of that one also blood flow will be affected, and oxygen supply to the heart as well as your brain is also being affected. So similar mechanism is there. There are various type of synthetic drugs are there for the treatment of this hypocholesterolemia, but this causes the liver injuries, myopathy as well as diabetes. This one is one scientist who have used this fish protein hydrolysate to reduce the plasma concentration of cholesterol in the hyperlipidemic animal, which are the obese Zucker rats are there. So they have found out when we are using this fish protein hydrolysate, so there is the suppression in the concentration of your cholesterol. It is not due to the fecal bile acid excretion, but it is due to the decrease in the hepatic activity of this particular enzyme. This 3-hydroxy-3-methyl-glutaraldehyde coenzyme A is reduced, and ultimately it reduces the conversion of your substrate into your cholesterol. So cholesterol regulatory effects of FP is also related. It has been also found that it is also related to the reduction in acyl-CoA cholesterol acyl transferase activity, and significant reduction in the plasma cholesterol concentration, especially VLDL and LDL concentration was also reported in the rat feed cholesterol enriched diet by using papain hydrolyzed for meat. It has also found that cholesterol reduction is also not sufficient, but there should be the reduction in the triglyceride level also for preventing the person or the individual from this cardiovascular diseases. So this particular peptide sequence is there, which has been obtained from the blood globulin, which reduces this hypertriglyceridemia by inhibition of fat absorption in the digestive tract as well as the increased activity of hepatic triglyceride lipase. So ultimately it reduces the triglyceride content in your blood. Generally, how this cholesterol lowering peptide acts, what they does, they prevents the micellar cholesterol micelle formation as well as the lipase activity will be suppressed, and because of that one your cholesterol will be excreted, extra cholesterol will be excreted. It is not going to be absorbed by your body. Then this cholesterol binding protein strongly binds with the bile acids, tyrocolate, deoxytyrocolate, and ultimately decreases the absorption of your cholesterol in the gut. Then it also tightly bound this particular NPCIL1, which enhances the cholesterol absorption inside the cell of your body, absorbs more amount of this cholesterol. It is not going to be remain present in your blood. Then there is the inhibition of this particular enzyme that we have already discussed. So there will not be any conversion of this HMG CoA to cholesterol. So it also reduces, as well as this particular peptide activates this particular pathway, which improves the LDL cholesterol absorption inside the cells. Next one is your ACE inhibitory peptide, which are also very much important to control the cardiovascular diseases. Generally, this ACE, if it is ACE is there, then there will be the hypertension, and which ultimately leads to the CVD. Inhibition of ACE is considered as one of the strategy to treat this hypertension. There are various type of diseases are there, but they will lead to the dizziness, headache, angioedema, as well as the cough. So as these food drive peptides are health promoting, as well as they are safe too. So because of that one, there is the use, or there is the wide use of this, or there is the more exploration of finding the bioactive peptide which has this ACE inhibitory activity. So anti-hypersensitive peptide shows the higher tissue affinity. So they will eliminate slowly from the tissues compared to the synthetic drug, which is also a very important factor to that drugs. Bioactive peptide is going to stay in your body for a longer period of time. So there are two systems which controls the vasoconstriction of your blood vessels. So first one is your renin angiotensin system. In that one, your renin is released from the kidney, and it converts this angiotensinogen from the liver to angiotensin 1. But if there will be the conversion of this angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2, which occurs due to the presence of this angiotensin converting enzyme. So if ACE enzyme is present, there will be the conversion of this angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2, and this angiotensin 2 act on the adrenal gland, stimulate the release of this aldosterone, and further it will stimulate the reabsorption of your sodium and water from your kidney. So this is the one of the mechanism. And second one is this angiotensin 2 will also act on the blood vessels and stimulate the vasoconstriction. And when there will be the vasoconstriction is there, then there will be the high BP because of the reduced flow of your blood from your blood vessel. And second one is your kallikrein system is there, which is also affected by the ACE. In that one, this pre-kallikrein is going to be converted into kallikrein, and further there will be the formation of this they are going to act on this caninogens, and it will lead to the formation of this bradykinins. We want that the bradykinins should be remain present in your blood because they are vasodilated. They increases the diameter. They prevents the constriction of your vasodilation. But if your ACE enzyme is there, if ACE is there, then it will convert this bradykinin into this bradykinin 1,7. So generally, if it is there, then this effect of vasodilation of your bradykinin will be suppressed. But if we are having this ACE inhibitory enzyme, so both the conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2 will not occur, and your bradykinin is not going to be converted into bradykinin 1 and 7. And because of that one, there will be the vasodilation effect on your blood vessels will be there, and it prevents the hypertension. So these are the different type of peptides obtained from the different sources, which has this anti-inhibitory as well as the anti-hypertensive type of properties. From milk, these many type of peptides has already been sequenced, from the casein also, from camel milk also, from human milk also, as well as the ripened cheese, which contains the proteolized type of proteolized peptide sequences. So they contains the higher amount of these type of sequences. Cheese, your lactalbumin, ovalbumin, so they also lactoferrin also lead to the formation of this one. There are certain type of this anti-inflammatory peptides are also there. Anti-inflammatory is nothing but whenever there is any type of attack on your body, so your defense mechanism will become active, and it will lead to the formation of a various type of the inflammatory particles, or the defense for preventing the body from any type of harmful effect. There will be the generation of various type of inflammatory mediators, such as your nitric oxide, pro-inflammatory cytokinins, or there will be the activation of your tuber necrosis factor alpha, interleukin as 6, as well as interleukin 1 beta will also be activated. But sometimes this is helpful when your body has been attacked. But if there will not be any attack, there will not be any tissue injury, but still there is the hyper production of this inflammatory material, then what they does, as they are attacking on the harmful particle coming from outside, now this inflammatory particles will going to attack your cells which are inherently present in your body, and because of that one there will be the activation of your macrophages system, and ultimately it will lead to the various type of severe type of elemental disorders, like rheumatoid arthritis, asthma, atherosclerosis, as well as endotoxins, and multiple organ injuries will be there. So for preventing that one, there will be the need of the anti-inflammatory type of your peptides. So these sequence are the sequence which has been extracted from, not much work has been carried out in this particular way, but there are the presence of the anti-inflammatory peptide. However, it is related to your CVD, as it prevents the atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is the damage on your blood vessels, and if that damage happens, then there will be the lead of the formation of plaque, and it will ultimately lead to the affect the CVD or heart diseases. And next peptide which also controls your CVD is your anti, or last peptide which controls the CVD is your antioxidative peptides. Generally inside your body, what happens when there will be the high blood pressure, then there will be this high blood pressure is generally related with your high amount of reactive oxygen species production in your blood. If there is the more this more production of this reactive oxygen species, then there will be the dysfunctioning in the endogenous antioxidant mechanism. Then this antioxidant mechanism scavenges the free radicals and produces the pathophysiological conditions, and they also induces the oxidative stress and leads to the tissue injuries. Generally, this diabetes, aging, smoking, hypercholesteremia, and nitrate intolerance are the risk factor for the CVD, and this also increases the reactive oxygen species production. So, this and their oxidative species, if reactive oxygen species are formed, they will have a ill effect. So, we want that this reactive oxygen species, either they should not form, the initiation process should not be there. If there is the initiation procedure, then there should be the no propagation as well. Propagation should not be there. However, there will be this ultimate termination for that particular reaction. So for that one, there will be this reactive, generally how this reactive oxygen species propagates, it act on your polyunsaturated fatty acid in your cytoplasmic membrane and generates the fatty acid peroxyl radical, which can further attack on the side chain of the fatty acids and triggers the production of other free radicals. So this is the propagation mechanism. It also alters the cell membrane permeability, and dysfunctioning of the membrane-bound receptor will be there, and it will ultimately lead to the death or the dysfunctioning of your cell. If oxidized low density lipoproteins are formed, then it will promote the atherosclerosis, which leads to the hypertension. This atherosclerosis disrupts the flow of the blood due to the plaque buildup in the artery wall, and bone resistance in the blood vessel lead to the increase in the blood pressure. So ultimately, this antioxidant oxidative stress is lead to the CVD. So activity of this bioactive peptide is associated, generally how they used to act. So in that one, it is very much important that what is the composition of your bioactive peptide, what is the sequence, how in this sequence they are attached to each other, and what is the hydrophobicity of your this bioactive peptide. Generally, the hydrophobic peptide shows the more antioxidative property as compared to the hydrophilic peptides. This may be due to the more solubility of your reactive oxygen species in the hydrophobic medium, so they can capture easily these free radicals and able to show the higher antioxidative activity. Other than that one, if your valine and leucine amino acids are present on the N terminal and proline is present in any position in your peptide sequence, then also it will contribute to the antioxidant activity. Generally, aliphatic group in the valine and leucine has the high affinity for the hydrophobic type of polyunsaturated fatty acid. Lysine, if lysine is present, then it is able to reduce the conversion of ferric to the ferrous ions, and it also chelates the ferrous ion as well as the copper ion, which are ultimately going to enhance the this oxidative stress. If phenylalanine is there, so it will act as a proton donor to the reactive oxygen species. So because of that one, the reactive oxygen species will be reduced, or there will be the scavenging of this reactive oxygen species. If histidine is there, then it will act as an oxygen quencher, as well as it also quenches or scavenges the hydroxyl radical due to the imidazole ring, which also act as a sometimes which also act as a proton donor, as well as tyrosine also act as a proton donor. Other than that one, if there is the combination of your this histidine, proline, cysteine, tyrosine, tryptophan, planine, methionine, then they lead to the delay in the lipid oxidation. And generally, it has been observed if these all amino acids are linked together in a particular sequence, then they are more effective than the single amino acid. Generally, this antioxidative peptides delays the oxidation. It prevents the conversion of ferrous to ferric, as well as it chelates the ferrous ion. It inhibits this scavenging. By scavenging, it inhibits this Fenton reaction, and it also lipid solubility. So it is these are the major mechanism involved in the antioxidative properties of these peptides. So next one is your how these particular peptides are going to affect your immune system. So there are the different activities, like they have the antifungal, antimicrobial, and antiviral property, as well as they also have the immunomodulatory property, as well as the cytomodulatory. In this cytomodulatory property, there is the anti-genotoxicity, as well as the anti-proliferation and the anti-tumor and the anti-carcinogenic properties are also involved. So antifungal is nothing but generally when we are going to see. So generally for the microbial infection, easily it can be solved by the consumption of your antibiotic. But if it is a fungal infection or it is a viral infection, then it is difficult to resolve that particular issue, as your COVID is nothing but it is a viral type of infection to the death of that particular human being also. So previously there are the various type of therapeutic options are there, but they have certain harmful effect, and because of that one, the bioactive peptides has been explored. They shows the defense barrier between the organism and its surrounding. Generally, it has been observed that small cationic as well as the amphibiatic molecule has the with not more than 50 amino acids are responsible for this antifungal properties. Then why there is the need for the search of this antimicrobial peptides, which ultimately related to your immune system. So because of the there are the various type of antibiotics are available in the market, but they are there is the these pathogens are becoming the resistance for this particular type of drugs or the antibiotics. Therefore, there is the need for the exploring these bioactive peptide in the terms of a new source or the food source for this antimicrobial peptide. Chemical preservatives are generally being added in the various type of food and food products for preventing the microbial growth, but still they have certain type of concerns. So because of that one, there is the need. Generally, this particular antimicrobial peptide are the small cationic molecule, and synthesis is generally low. Metabolic cost is involved for these synthesis. They rapidly diffuse on the infection side, and still there is a need to determine their physiological role, but it kills a microbe to modulate the immune system through the increase in the phagocytosis activity. Generally, these bioactive peptides are going to attach on your lipid bilayer or the first जो भी cell membrane layer है, on that one they are going to be attached, and because of that attachment there will be the destruction in the cell membrane, and it will affect the cell membrane permeability and the other reactions, and ultimately lead to the death of the microbial cells. So these are the different type of antimicrobial peptides which are being sequenced already. And different sources are also there, like in case of your milk there is the attachment of human milk, egg, as well as bovine milk contains various type of this antimicrobial peptides. Next one is your antiviral peptide, but these peptides are generally shown their activity against this herpes simplex virus 1 as well as your 2 HSV1 as well as the HSV2. They have been characterized against that one also only. So oyster, crab, mussel, as well as the frog skin of a specific species, they have this particular hydrolysate and peptides obtained from these sources has the activity. There are generally two ways. Either they directly inactivates the virus particle, or they interfere in the reproduction cycle of the virus, and in that term they controls the viral development, or the it acts as an antiviral agent. Generally, it needs the shorter contact time as compared to the synthetic drug. In that way, it has the advantage over the synthetic drugs. Then there are the immunomodulatory peptides are there. This immunomodulatory peptide generally improves the lymphocyte proliferation. It increases the synthesis of more amount of natural killer cells. They improve the cell activity. They also lead to the antibody synthesis will also be increased, and the cytokinin secretion will also be regulated. And this bioactive peptide released from the different selected Lactobacillus salvaticus strain and the frog skin has a host defense peptide showed the stimulating influence on the production of your cytokinin. This cytokinin has both the activities like pro-inflammatory as well as they also act as a anti-inflammatory. So the next peptide has been find out from your zebrafish phosphate, which upregulates the anti-inflammatory compound as well as downregulates the pro-inflammatory cytokinase gene. So it will helpful in the if there will be the more secretion of your inflammatory compounds, then it suppresses that one. If there will be the less amount of your inflammatory compound, that it increases that one. So that gene it will be able to control. Then peptide sequence from the human milk came to stimulate the in vitro phagocytosis of sheep blood red blood cells, and it has a protective effect in the against in mice against the lethal infection caused by Klebsiella pneumonia. So this is the specific sequence which prevents this red blood cells formation, phagocytosis for red blood cells. This particular sequence is important for that particular activity. This cytomodulatory effect is related to the cell proliferation and apoptosis, and ultimately it is related to your cell viability. We want that your cell should be more amount of your cell should be viable. There are the certain confusions, therefore there will be the clear classification of this cytomodulatory activity in the two categories. First one is your anti-carcinogenic and anti-carcinogenic effect, and second one is for controlling the cancer cells. So genotoxic means it prevents there are certain type of compounds which are toxic for your genes. Other than that one, there are the certain compounds which causes the mutation in the gene, and because of that mutation, there will be the, what we can say it as, when there is the mutation, the gene activity will be affected, DNA synthesis will be affected, and ultimately it will affect the, or it will affect the your genetic information of the cells will also be affected. Generally, this genotoxic is a broad term. However, this mutants is a small term. Mutant comes in the category of your xenotoxins, and because of that one, these particular mutants, genotoxics, are more harmful as compared to your mutant. It has been observed that the acid-derived isolates from the silk fibrinogen showed higher genotoxic activity than the enzyme-derived isolates, and it has been proposed, the two mechanisms are been proposed. One is your protective interaction between the cell and the peptide molecule, and second one is your direct role of peptide to inactivate the mutation. So these are the cytomodulatory peptide extracted, as well as the anti-mutagenic and anti-genotoxic enzymes peptides extracted from the different sources. Next one is your anti-proliferatory as well as anti-tumor and the anti-cancer peptide. So they are generally carcinogenic cells. They starts to this we all know what is the cancer. Cancer is nothing but if our body cells are start to divide on a very faster rate. So they will be the more concentration of cells, and they will attach to each other, lead to the development of a tumor. So this type of activity is there in the, and sometimes what happens, these cells enters into your bloodstream and transported from the one area to the other area, and ultimately lead to the development of a cancer at a different site, and development of tumor at the different sites. So what we want that these cells which has this type of activity, or the carcinogenic cell which are multiplying at a very faster rate, that needs to be controlled. However, there is no single mechanism for the peptide has been given for the how this tumor cell death occurs. However, non-specific perturbation of cell membrane and the subsequent insertion into the lipid bilayer, and ultimately lead to the disruption of the cell membrane. These are the different assumptions that these may be the possible mechanism for the death of your tumor cells. And they also fight against the proliferation of trouble-making cells, and several peptides from the different sources are able to prevent this proliferation of the cells. These anti-proliferative cells are also being extracted, or anti-cancer and the tumor peptide are also being extracted from the different sources. Bovine milk also contains certain number of your peptide sequence which has the this carcinogenic effect. Then anti-diabetic peptides are also there. This is up to this point, this is related to your immune system, and how we can control this particular what we can say it as how we can control the and cancer as well as the mutation in the genes, how we can control, and what is the ultimate effect of your different peptide on your immune system. Then next one is the anti-diabetic peptide. Anti-diabetic is the peptide which prevents the diabetes. This diabetes we all know, which is a very prevalent disease in worldwide. This is generally due to the ineffective metabolization of your glucose molecule. If there will be the high amount of glucose level in blood is there, then that will be known as your diabetes. There are the two possible mechanisms for this particular diabetes. One is your there are two type of diabetes is here, type 1 as well as your type 2. So type 1 is related to the insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, which is an autoimmune disease characterized by the beta cell dysfunctioning. So what happens, there is the requirement of your beta cells for the formation of your insulin. If beta cells are not formed or not in the proper structure, or if there is the dysfunctioning of your beta cells, so insulin production will not be there, and a lower level of your insulin will be produced, and this insulin is very much important for the absorption of glucose from the bloodstream. So because of that particular thing, the blood glucose level will be high. And second type of disease is your type 2 diabetes, which is not affected by this insulin factor, but it is affected by the two enzyme, which one is your DPP4 as well as your uh, DPP4 as well as your DPP4 as well as alpha glucosidase enzymes are responsible for that particular, and 90% of the diabetic population is suffering from the type 2 diabetes. And generally it is more common in the low and medium income nations, and it has been predicted that the number of patients will be increased to around 438 millions up to the year of 2030. There are the availability of synthetic drugs for this particular thing, but it will increase the obesity. It will also affect the gastrointestinal disorder. It will lead to the pancreatitis, which is the dysfunctioning of your pancreas, and there are other metabolic disorders will also be there. So generally we have to regulate the insulin level as well as your we have to uh, regulate the insulin level in your body. Generally there are the two way. One is the either there will be the release of your insulin, and second one is the there will be the action against this alpha glucosidase, alpha amylase, and the dipeptide peptidase 4 enzyme. It has from the skin tetraploid cloud frog skin is used for the generation of a peptide which has a 10 amino acid sequence, and it has the stimulatory effect on the insulin release. And there is the 8 amino acid peptide sequence has been obtained from the albumin, which has the alpha glucosidase as well as the alpha amylase inhibitory activity, as well as phospholipid byproduct of phospholipid obtained from your egg yolk. They also have the inhibition of your alpha glucosidase as well as DPP4. And it has been observed that this particular byproduct shows the both DPP inhibitory as well as your alpha glucose inhibitory activity as compared to the other sources. And soya glycine are also used, or different amino acid sequence has been obtained from your soya glycine, and which will increase the glucose uptake in the human hepatic HEP G2 cells. So there are the how these particular peptides are going to affect your this diabetes or glucose level in blood. First is like if this DPP4 is involved in the conversion of DPP4 inhibits the insulin secretion. If we are going to inhibit this DPP4 enzyme, then there will be the formation of glucagon like peptide 1, and this particular peptide will release or stimulate the release of more amount of insulin. So this is the one of the mechanism. Other than that one is this GLP-1 also inhibits the glucagon release. This glucagon is a type of peptide only, which inhibits the which interferes in the glucose absorption. And as there is the stimulation of insulin as well as inhibition of glucagon, there will be the lowering of your blood pressure. And when there is the alpha glucosidase activity, it prevents the breakdown of your starch. So complex molecule will be there. There will be low blood glucose level. If alpha amylase is activity has been inhibited, it also inhibits the degradation of your starch as well as the glycogen hydrolysis, and ultimately it is going to affect the low blood glucose level. And because of all these possible mechanisms, there are the reduced uptake of your insulin stimulated glucose uptake will be there, glucose uptake in the muscle cell will be there, and these activity will be there. So there will be the hypoglycemic effect. Then last one is your anti-obesity. As we know that during this particular century, there are the very high rate of increasing the weight, and the obesity is the major serious issue in this particular scenario, which will elevate this. Obesity is not a disease, but it will relate with various type of diseases. That one is your heart disease, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, obstructive sleep, and other type of cancer, or arthritis, and the among others. So obesity is one of the base for the generation of this type of lifestyle diseases. So there are various type of generally whatever synthetic drugs are there, they are related to the providing either when we are going to consume, either they will provide the satiety value, and second one is they will act as a suppressant for the appetite. So adverse effect of this drug include the depression and the CVD risk. Therefore, there is the surge of this peptide. So generally, what we have to do, we have to regulate the for preventing the obesity. There should be the either satiety value should be there, or there should be the suppression of your appetite. So for these two factors can be controlled by this cholecystokinin. This cholecystokinin, when there is the stimulation or the release of this cholecystokinin from your intestinal cells, if they are released, they are going to give the satiety value. And this glycomacropeptide, that generally it has been obtained from the casein, or it is a type of milk, from milk protein. This glycomacropeptides have been obtained. These are the glycosylated form of caseino-macropeptide. They have increased the simulate or increased the synthesis of this cholecystokinin, and it will ultimately lead to provide the satiety value. And there is one fragment, this particular fragment is obtained from the beta conglycine, which is will ultimately lead to the anorexia, which is anorexiogenic effect, which is nothing but the loss of appetite will be there. So if loss of appetite will be there, which is this loss of appetite is also related to the stimulating effect on your cholecystokinin. So these are the different type of anti-obesity peptides obtained from the different sources. Other than that one, there are the probiotic effect as well as the protective effect on your gut mucosa are also there for your by this bioactive peptides. So these are all the bioactive. These are the some of the commercially available products for the bioactive peptides. These are commercially available, and they are like Lactium is relaxing effect and obtained from milk. This my protein is they obtained from whey. It is the for the sport nutrition. This Cetomarine super, it is for the sardine source, and these are the hypertensive. So these are the different type of peptide which has a proven applicability, and they are proven that these particular peptides, if we are going to consume, they have a positive type of effect on your body. So these type of peptides are commercially available. So now it is the end of my presentation. So it is open for the discussion if someone has any questions. Yes, sir.
Yes. No, ma'am, there is no question. We have not
No
received
question,
any-
sir?
No, we have not received any
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
So can I
For
end?
wonderful-
Okay.
Yes. Do we have another PPT?
No, sir. I don't have any PPT.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for a wonderful presentation. They are definitely being. Hello, am I audible? Thank you very much, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation, and that will be beneficial for the students, researcher, and the faculties also for the future research. Thank you very much.